is alright. In the studio, we be all night. Everything is alright. In the studio, we be all night.
We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo. We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo.
Close, never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below us. Ultralight beam me up, deep glower. Better retreat from these space force. Close, never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below us. Ultralight beam me up, deep glower. Better retreat from these space force. This one for my aces, came from different bases. Traveling them places, yeah, conquering the nations. Ain't no rocket science, but chemistry what made us. Keep on dropping hits till they know we the greatest, yeah. Everything is alright. In the studio, we be all night. Everything is alright. In the studio, we be all night.
We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo. We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo. Never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below. Ultralight beam me up, deep glower. Better retreat from these space force.
Close, never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below us. Ultralight beam me up, deep glower. Better retreat from these space force. Space force. Space force.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back with him. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I'll have to.
It's pretty obvious we all know you're pretending. You have no actual facts for the lies that you're defending. Conservatives not the only ones who find it condescending. The real reason you circle back is cause you know it's never ending. Round and round and round you go, dancing like a puppet show. Just a simple yes or no. Thousands watching wanna know the truth. I guess there's too much to ask. Like why Biden was at the Lincoln Memorial without a mask, huh? Can't believe what I'm seeing now. Got everyone thinking.
Circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you.
Circle back.
I'm happy to circle back.
Circle back. Only just to hear you say. In the beginning, we tried giving you a chance, but it seems intimidating if reporters start raising hands. Is it better if we send you the questions far in advance? Honestly, all we really want is answers about your mans. Cause the fence around the Capitol means it's for securing borders.
Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. I am one of the two kings of the Rube Empire, the Ivory Tower, the Philosopher King, the Mad Scientist Man, and I've got a perspective on things. With me, the Kick-Ass Duke, the producer, the right hand of the kings, Dusty!
Are you ready? Are you ready for a show tonight? I'm ready for a show tonight. And apparently so is the U.S. government, because they just funded themselves for another month.
Hooray!
Yay! Stopgap measure, because we can't, yeah.
Well, because we can't...
Yeah.
Because we don't legitimately do anything but spend money that we...
don't have.
Money that we don't have and that we immorally seized from the people of the United States of America. So, good
Of course. How else are they supposed to pay for their six-figure salaries?
Six-figure salaries, their private jets, their, whatever, the list goes on. Their gold toilets, their assassinations, their murders, their...
everything.
Their wars. Yeah.
They're destroying of private businesses, things like that.
They're mafia exploits, you know? They're organized crime.
The people they don't like.
Organized violence. Yeah. Basically, government.
Pretty much. So there's that. They also have the FBI going after the parents in Loudoun County because they don't like it when parents tell them that they don't want their kids learning certain subjects because, well,
it takes a village.
I don't think a 10-year-old needs to learn about.
It takes a village. All right?
Yeah.
It takes a village, and what that means is that parents have no control. The community owns our children.
They have no authority.
Yes, they do not have any authority.
Of course not. Why would they have authority?
Yeah, that is astounding to me. Frankly, it's really.
Yes.
It's not surprising.
Of
Obviously.
course not.
If you've been watching us for any measure of time, none of this is surprising. It's just still astounding. The audacity and the arrogance. You know, the public servant, what a myth. What a myth.
No, they're not a servant. A servant denotes the fact that they serve somebody else, that they have a master over them.
Yeah.
Not that they're the master.
Exactly.
And also, it also denotes that servant is synonymous with not getting paid. At least not getting paid fairly.
I mean, you can have a servant that gets paid well, you know, but...
They're an employee then.
Yeah, but they are an employee.
They're not a servant.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, it depends. Like, a slave doesn't get paid. You know?
Okay.
But, like, the butler in a mansion is a servant. You know, they serve at the behest of the owner of the mansion.
Okay.
But they...
Okay.
But you're right in that, you know, they definitely shouldn't be making more than their supposed master. Right?
So here's my theory on this, and tell me what you think. That serving in Congress, you do not get a lifetime paycheck.
Definitely not.
Currently, that's the case. Once you serve a full term in Congress, you will forever make that money.
That's ludicrous. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
God.
Also, their health care is completely paid for the rest of their lives.
That is complete garbage. So they make a six-figure salary.
So is the president.
They make a six-figure salary. They continue to get that money. They have health care provided. You know it's the best health care in the country.
Yes.
That we probably don't even have access to. And then on
course
top of
not.
that, insider trading is not illegal for them and them alone.
Yep.
And the worst thing about that was that they went through that whole show where they got rid of it,
Yeah.
and then quietly, like I'd say maybe 6 months later, they just reenacted it.
Yep.
Freaking douchebags, man. The worst.
So this is what I think needs to happen. One, term limits need to be in
Obviously.
place, especially for senators. Especially for senators. The second thing is their salary needs to be based on the median income of the United States.
100%.
So wherever the median income is, that's what they get to make for their term. Now, if that median income goes up, their pay goes
Yep.
up. But if it goes down, their pay goes down.
Yep. 100%. That is absolutely true.
Ooh.
Third option, we just abolish the federal government because we don't need them.
The third
don't
one
speak
is
for me.
it would be illegal for them to then become what is it
Lobbyists.
after you're lobbyists. It'd be illegal for them to be associated with any sort of lobbying.
Yeah.
So serving your
I'd say
term
they,
in
I'd
the
say
Senate
I'd say they would.
should
They
be
shouldn't be allowed to live in Washington D.C.
Oh, that's good. You can run for other offices, state senate, state governor, whatever,
Sure.
but you're not allowed to run for anything for the Senate again.
Mm-hmm.
So once your 2 terms are up, it's done for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the House. 2 terms, done.
Yeah.
Actually, the House probably 3 terms.
I'd be for it.
Maybe 4.
I'd be for it, definitely. And you know,
Yeah.
I'm obviously for more, but that's a fantastic start, no doubt.
See, running for Senate and House should be almost like jury duty. It's part of your responsibility as a citizen to fill this position, not as a lifelong politician, like a certain president that's currently in the office, who has spent literally his entire life in politics.
Or Bernie Sanders, also the same. Yeah, 100%. It's time for an Epstein update.
Oh,
Barely read
Epstein update. Okay.
You know, the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is going on right now, and so I feel that it's important that we stay up to date on what's going on. And so today, or Wednesday, they had one of her accusers on the stand. Who's, to protect her identity, they're calling her Jane.
Yeah. Okay.
And the defense went ahead and of course they're trying to poke holes in her story, which is what a defense does. So I'm not.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a good defense attorney if you didn't try to poke holes in somebody in.
So like
the prosecution's case.
So like they're saying, they're questioning whether she can even remember accurately things that happened when she was a teenager. Which is to me kind of a ludicrous charge. It's like, nobody has perfect recall, but I would remember if I was sexually abused. So
that would kind of stick out like a sore thumb. So this is not on the same level at all as being sexually abused or anything like that. But I have very vivid memories of dislocating my shoulder, ripping apart my knee, things like that really stand out. I know what I was doing. I know where I was. I know what happened. I remember what happened afterwards very vividly.
That was a mean game of cornhole.
Crack the Whip, actually.
Crack the Whip?
Yeah. You ever remember playing that game?
Mm-mm.
Line up a bunch of kids, hand to hand, arms stretched out, and the kid on the end turns and then goes back, and then the whole line has to switch direction, and the one person on the end gets thrown off. Called Crack the Whip.
Interesting.
Well, I got cracked into a tree.
Nice. Good times.
Completely dislocated my shoulder.
No, one
stuff.
thing they did kind of get her on was she had said that she had gone to see The Lion King on Broadway with Epstein and Maxwell when she was 14, but the show didn't come out until she was 17, right? So she acknowledged, yeah, I got the timeline wrong. You know, okay. And apparently, they're looking at the FBI's notes from interviews with the investigators, and and her claim is that a lot of it is out of sequence and incorrect, and that it's not a transcript of the interviews, that it's just notes in haphazard order. Okay. The defense also tried to show that Jane has a financial incentive in accusing Maxwell. Menninger, the defense lawyer, accused Jane of traveling on Epstein's dime after she escaped the abuse. She also asked her whether she had ever cried because Epstein gave her only $2,000 for a teen beauty pageant dress. Her response was, "That's ridiculous, I would never do that." But my question is, so what?
Yeah.
Like, that does not, none of that has anything to do with, I mean, I guess they're trying to show that she has motive to falsely accuse, right? But that isn't proving that it's false.
No.
You know? That's just proving a potential for motive to be false, but not that it's actually false.
Yeah. Not that it never happened. It just might have happened differently. Okay. I see where the defense is going with that.
Okay. The defense also brought up Jane's acting career, suggesting that she may be acting on the witness stand. Menninger asked her whether she can cry on command and noted that she has played a prostitute in a soap opera. And that means what?
That she's been employed.
Yeah, that as an actor. Now the cry on command thing is, that to me that's low. That's just low. You know. I don't know.
If she can do it, then she'd be a prized actress.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's not an easy thing to do.
It feels low, but I don't know. It seems like it's grasping at straws.
Yeah.
She received like $5 million from the Epstein's Victims Fund, and she said she actually started to cry as she talked about it. She said, "I wish I would have never received that money in the first place because of what happened." I'm not exactly sure what she means by that, but that's interesting. So then her ex-boyfriend...
I think she meant, from that statement, I think what she meant was she'd rather not have happened than her get all that money.
Yeah, that was the way I took it, but, you know, it can be...
Okay.
Her wording could be taken elsewhere, too.
Probably could have been better, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
stumble over words all the time too.
They also brought in her ex-boyfriend after she was done testifying. They had dated for 8 years, and And so Jane described Epstein to Matt as a sort of godfather to her and told him about Epstein's sexual abuse of her after Epstein's first sex offender conviction in Florida, 2008. Matt testified that Jane told both him and her mother that the money Epstein gave her wasn't effing free. And he says, I couldn't understand why her mother would let her go and be with a man alone, he told the court. When Maxwell was arrested, Matt asked Jane whether Maxwell was the woman Jane had told him was present in Epstein's house and made her feel more comfortable, and Jane confirmed that she was. So this is basically, they bring him in to show that this is not something that she just made up out of whole cloth. She's had this conversation with other people.
At multiple times.
Yes, so that's interesting. But it says here, Maxwell appeared relaxed in court on Wednesday, except for a few moments when she sat very still and sank down in her chair. And then it talks about what she wore and, stuff like that. Who cares?
Well, it does, because we can't see it, because federal cases aren't
No, like
allowed
her
to be
mood and
broadcast.
stuff, like the clothes. I'm like, meh.
Yeah. It just kind of gives us a more
Sure.
roundabout feeling
Yeah.
of what's going on.
It says when Jane finished her testimony and stepped down from the witness stand, Maxwell stared at her as she walked out of the courtroom, turning her head to watch her walk out the door. Well, yeah, this is one of the people who's going to bring you down, you scumbag. All right. So that's the Epstein update. Not a whole lot, but, important stuff. They've got an accuser already having given testimony in court. And then a boyfriend that corroborates that she has talked about this before, and that these are the people that she was referring to, and that she's not just making it up. Well, at least it lends to her credibility.
Correct.
And hopefully this person gets put away for a long time. Even though it is true that you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
But now let's talk about the story, the titular story of today's episode. So Whoopi Goldberg unloads on the Supreme Court over this Mississippi abortion case. So we might be seeing the end of Roe v. Wade. Hopefully, prayerfully, we will see this.
I just would rather not a full-out ban of abortion, but make it so that the only way you can get it is to actually go to a doctor and actually have either the mother's life in danger or the baby's life in danger. One of those things.
Yeah, but even those things aren't really legitimate.
When the baby threatens the mother's life and
that
there's
doesn't
no way
happen.
to save the baby, things like that.
That doesn't happen.
Yes,
No,
it does.
It doesn't. The mother, the baby is not the cause of the mother's life being in danger, right? And the doctors have given an oath to do no harm. Their job is to try to save both, but they might not.
Correct.
Abortion is never necessary.
Correct. So I just don't want it to be wholesale. You can never, ever, 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 under any circumstances do this.
You should never do it, ever. There's no reason to murder the baby. You try to save both. And if you can't,
yes,
you can't.
But I just don't want it to go too far extreme to where a medical emergency where it would call for it.
But it never calls for it. It
would be illegal.
It never calls for it. It doesn't call for the murder of the baby. It calls for you do what you have to do to save the mother's life and try to save the baby but you might end up losing the baby because, but not, I have to suck out its brain and rip its legs and arms
No.
off, you know?
That's not what I'm talking about.
But that's what an abortion is.
Yes, I know.
So then you're not talking
Late-term,
about the same thing.
No, we're not talking about the same thing. I'm not talking about late-term stuff or things like that.
That's early term stuff.
I'm talking about...
That's any term stuff. They do that.
Yeah. I'm talking about, say the baby dies in the womb.
Okay. Yeah, that's not an abortion.
It's dead. It's endangering the mother's life. It needs to be removed.
Yeah, that wouldn't be involved in this. The baby's already dead. Stillburn.
But it's stuff like that. Yeah,
but that doesn't fall under the same.
I don't want medical procedures that can save lives to be
There's
illegal.
Absolutely no.
But not a healthy fetus, a baby.
Yeah. So okay, but
being
but
aborted.
You're worried,
I want that
worried
illegal.
about nothing, is what I'm saying. Like you're worried about something that's not going to happen, because, especially in that instance, the baby's already dead. You're not performing an abortion. You know.
I don't know what you would call it then.
Yeah, it would be.
I don't have the medical vernacular to articulate that thought point.
Okay. What you're trying to say is a situation where the mother's life is in danger, the baby's still alive.
Yes.
And you need to do something like take the baby out to save the mother.
Correct.
That's not an abortion. That is a premature birth. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it may be too early for the baby, and the baby might die. Right?
Correct.
But technology is such that the baby might also live.
Correct.
You know?
We're getting to the point where that it's getting smaller and smaller, where we can actually save the baby's life.
The whole viability argument, which they talk about in this article. But that's not the same as having to perform an abortion. And you don't have to perform the abortion. You don't have to murder the baby to save the mother's life.
Correct.
You may have to put the baby in a situation that it might not survive, but that's not the same thing as outright killing the baby, you know?
Correct. And that's what I want to make sure that they don't go overboard and say, nope, you can't do this because of...
Yeah, but I don't think that's...
It might
ever
kill the baby, things like that.
That's not even on the table, man. I don't think that's on the table.
I'm just stating.
Yeah, I understand.
The left goes way too far this way, and then the right goes way too far that way, and I want it more here. Where the mother's life is secure and the baby's life is secure. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Not kill the baby when it's 2 years old.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, I don't think that's I don't think you have anything to worry about, because nobody's advocating for that. You know, they really aren't, because the pro-life movement is pro-life. So,
exactly.
You know. All right. Let's get started. The View host Whoopi Goldberg lashed out Thursday at the Supreme Court over oral arguments in what could be the next landmark abortion case, Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. Goldberg criticized several of the arguments made by the justices, but reserved the bulk of her ire for Justice Samuel Alito. Alito argued Wednesday that a fetus presumably had the same interest both prior to and after the point of viability, namely, to stay alive. Dadoy.
I'd agree with that.
And this is her response to him. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
It's the same tired argument, but we're going to get it again. Do any of you
my body, my choice?
No. Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea, she scolded during Thursday's broadcast. What? That has nothing to do with it. How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? Yeah, how dare you defend the defenseless? Vominos Brandon. How dare Whoopi assume men can't have babies? Funny that you say that. The next paragraph, the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh was quick to respond saying, I have been reliably informed that many men do in fact have the possibility of getting pregnant. This transphobic bigotry from Whoopi Goldberg is outrageous and unacceptable. Okay, the conversation on The View began with a montage of several of the justices' comments, beginning with Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who, in addition to comparing unborn babies to brain-dead adults, claimed that the court might not ever recover from the stench, quote, the stench of overturned Roe v. Wade. I hope it doesn't. I hope it never recovers from the stench of...
Yep. What's it? It's almost 60, 70 million babies.
Yeah. The
rotting.
stench of cleaning up 60 to 70 million
unborn babies.
Dead babies. This is another quote. Viability, it seems to me, doesn't have anything to do with choice, but if it really is an issue about choice, why is 15 weeks not enough time? Chief Justice John Roberts argued. Good question. Justice Amy Coney Barrett noted that in both Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, the undue burden on the woman seeking an abortion stemmed from the duties and stresses of parenting, and she argued that adoption and safe haven laws address that burden more directly. Also true.
True.
Also true. The final comment in the montage came from Alita, who said, the fetus has an interest in having a life, and that doesn't change, does it? From the point before viability to the point after viability. Yeah. That's exactly the point. That's why what should be a pretty darn good argument, my body, my choice, because it does apply in certain circumstances, namely, jabs. Unwanted jabs. Welcome, Vominos Brandon.
Nice.
Welcome to the Rube Empire, citizen.
I like what he says.
Babies of
color.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Babies of color are disproportionately impacted by abortions, since birthing persons of color are 3 times more likely to abort their babies.
Well, and just look at the placement of Planned Parenthood facilities.
Can we just say women? Because this...
well, no, he's
birthing persons?
Yeah. He's
women.
He's doing the same thing that... He's playing their game and mocking them at the same time.
Women. I am saying women.
Okay, so the fetus has an interest in having a life, and that doesn't change, does it? Yeah, so my body, my choice applies in certain cases, but ultimately the fetus is not your body.
No, we don't have to be politically correct, because politically correct would be women have babies.
No,
Men do not.
That would be just reality correct.
Yeah.
That would be reality correct.
Politically correct.
No, political correctness, that's straight out of Mao. Political correctness is what keeps you in line with the party. You know what I mean?
No, women have babies.
Yeah, that's not politically correct. That's just reality.
Men can't have babies.
Oh, sure, it's triggering for those who want to believe otherwise, but that's fine.
Well, yeah, they can be triggered all they want. I don't care.
I'm okay with that.
I'll watch them get triggered while I pull my trigger.
So that was when Goldberg cut in, demanding to know whether Alito, as a man, had any eggs or the ability to carry a fetus to term. How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea, she shouted, prompting applause from the audience before she continued. How do they still have an audience? I'm fine if you disagree with abortion. I have no problem with that. Okay. My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
Well, here's the thing. You don't have a problem telling people what they need to do with their guns and their family.
Or what they need to get jabbed with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What they need to do between their doctor and their body when it comes to vaccines.
Yep.
You're a hypocrite. All right? A fetus is a human being, and it's a separate body that just so happens to be inside of a woman's body. But still a separate,
hey, guess what?
Viable person, a unique DNA code, completely
there you go.
unique. The only connection is the umbilical cord, and yes, that is providing nutrients from the mother to the baby.
Yep.
And frankly, this is an issue of personal freaking responsibility. If you didn't want to have a kid, don't have freaking sex, or at the very least, use contraceptives. A condom or something. Live babies are a huge inconvenience on birthing persons who otherwise prefer to continue with the lifestyle that resulted in the unwanted baby. The birthing person should have a right to make it so the baby won't come out alive. Absolutely. It's very important that they maintain their lifestyle. That's way more important than a life.
Saving another life. Yeah. Maintaining their lifestyle is way more important than saving somebody else's life.
I mean, and they make this viability argument, and they don't understand that, they don't understand that that's a slippery slope.
So
because it doesn't just stop with like, can you think or whatever. How long before it becomes, are you a productive member of society? Are you actually producing something for society, or are you just out there partying? Well, we don't need more partiers, so we've got this great camp that we'd like to send you to. You interested?
Hey, there's this room we want to put you in.
Yeah.
It's very special. Has great ventilation.
Great ventilation. You can get a nice shower. It's going to be super awesome. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. So, this is a slippery slope also. We're advocating for life.
Say that again?
We're advocating for life.
Yes.
Correct? We don't want people to kill innocent life. And I want to make sure that that's clear, that it's the innocence that we're trying to save.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A person.
We're defending the defenseless. We're speaking for the voiceless. We're doing all the things that the left claims to do for, people of color, for birthing persons, blah, blah, blah. But we're actually doing it for people.
So I got this thrown at me. How can I be against abortion, but yet support self-defense? Lethal self-defense. Yeah, I know. And my answer to that was free will.
Yeah, definitely.
The baby did not choose to become whole and become a person. The person having sex
made that choice.
Chose to make that baby.
Or chose to engage in an activity that would make a baby.
Correct. Now, the person engaging in reckless behavior that leads to them being unborn uh, tragically, um, that is also
Mm-hmm.
free will. They chose to do something stupid that would cause their death
Yeah,
by
definitely.
somebody
The
else's
the
hand.
other side of that argument is, well, is my life not important? As the person who's under assault, who's being attacked, whose private property and life are being assaulted, being
Threatened.
threatened. My life doesn't matter?
No, your life completely matters,
Exactly.
and your right to self-defense is just as great.
Exactly. Those two ideas, the person under assault, their life matters. And that isn't to
Yep.
say that the person who's doing this all doesn't have a life that matters, but they've engaged in an activity that renders their life forfeit, you know, to a certain degree.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Uh, most 20 and 30 somethings have grown up assuming that they have a right to be able to escape the consequences of their mistakes. That's 100% true. I mean, just ask a teacher what it's like dealing with the parents of their children. When I was in school and I did something wrong, I got in trouble at school and I got in trouble at home.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's the thing.
Nowadays,
I
you
was
get in
more
trouble at
terrified. I was more terrified to get in trouble at school because I got it twice
Mm-hmm.
than just at home.
Yeah.
Because at home you get punished once, it doesn't roll over into school.
Mm-hmm.
At school, you get punished at school. My principal, when I was in elementary school, spanked kids
Yeah.
with a paddle.
Yep. If you got sent to the principal's office, the first
Oh,
one time was
oh,
the office warning, the second time was the
yep.
paddling warning, and the third time was the paddling. And I'm proud to say that I made it to paddling warning 3 times in my elementary career, but I never got a paddling. Um, yeah, now they get trophies for showing up, and the parents they the child gets in trouble at school, and the parent is in there lambasting anybody that they can get their hands on. For this for
Because
the
it's never the
audacity
child's
to say
fault.
that their kid was doing anything
Yeah.
wrong, or if you can't get my kid to learn, that's on you and not my child. It's ridiculous.
Because there's no responsibility. It's the state's responsibility to raise their kids.
Well,
It's not theirs.
it's not necessarily that's because the parents grew up that way too. It's possible, it's probable, but
It's
it's
probable.
more. I think it's
It's
more.
highly likely.
It's more this idea that our children. I mean, you know people who talk about their child as their best friend.
Oh my gosh.
My child is my best friend. No,
Oh,
your child is not your friend.
no.
Now,
You are its
it may come
parent.
about that when they are adults, you might develop a friendship. And that's a wonderful thing. But when they're
Yes.
children, and even then you'll always be their parent. But when they're children, you
You're
are
right. Everyone's a
definitely
victim.
not their friend. You are 100% not their friend.
No.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
Yes.
mean you don't love your kids.
No, of course not.
And the whole reason
That
why you're their parent
yeah,
is because you love them.
yes. The person who says that their kids are their best friend love themselves more than they love their kids. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. If you
Oh, yes.
cannot be
I completely agree.
if you cannot be the disciplinarian, that means that you love yourself more than you love your kid. Now, I understand that there can be a measure of fear. Like How you discipline is up to you. You know, like you don't.
Yes.
If you don't trust yourself to not go overboard in anger, then you need to take a step back.
CEO of Pfizer.
Have you guys had your booster shot yet?
No. I have not, nor do I plan to.
But we are not medical. We're not giving medical advice. Just stating where we are. That's it.
Just stating where we are. I don't plan to, nor am I going to.
Does that appease you, YouTube? Does that make you feel better? Pfizer,
Participation trophy?
Pfizer says, come on, guys, I need more money. I don't think you do.
I don't think
what was it, 198 billion that they've made off of this?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, let me finish this. Co-host Anna Navarro brought up the Michigan's... sorry. Co-host Sarah Haynes went on to argue that viability was not arbitrary, quote, despite the fact that it was, as the justice noted during oral arguments, entirely dependent on the availability and quality of medical care, and that it was viability that put a fetus on equal footing with the mother because that was when it was able to survive outside the womb. So it is arbitrary, you know? It depends on things.
Exactly.
Co-host Anna Navarre brought up the Michigan school shooting that killed 4 and left several others wounded, appearing to suggest that conservatives did not care about the right to life of those students. That's the thing. They're all into sanctity of life before it comes to 4 teenagers who died in Oxford, Michigan. How about their right to life and, pursue happiness? Ask the killer that question.
Right?
That's not a question for people
and don't
who think
let
that
immunity
guns should exist.
Be an excuse.
Had you had an armed guard or multiple armed guards at that school, those kids might be alive. You
right?
Moron.
Or an armed teacher.
The question, that's not a question for people who are pro-gun because they're pro-gun because they're pro-self-defense.
Correct.
They want those kids to live because they want them to have the right to defend themselves from maniacs who want to kill them. You're the ones who don't care about whether they live. And you're right in there with the freaking murderer who did it. CEO of Pfizer, welcome to the Rube Empire, citizen. Thank you for the follow.
So, did you hear what Alec Baldwin is now stating?
Oh,
that he never pulled the trigger. The gun just went off on its own.
One last thing from the article. We're not going to get a ruling on this case until next summer.
Seriously?
That's what the article says.
Holy cow.
CEO of Pfizer.
Okay.
If those kids had the vaccine, it would have protected them from the gun. Wow. Wow, your product is amazing.
That's some amazing... Is it all the nanites inside of it creates armor?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what the mRNA vaccine is. It's Iron Man's nanosuit.
It's all these nanites.
Oh man, I'll take a nanosuit. That's for sure.
Do you really want that though?
Not inside my body, but I'll take the little chest piece.
There you go.
If I can wear like a watch that then spreads out over my body and becomes
it spreads out,
and I can fly and shoot laser beams. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yes.
Anyway,
Iron Man stuff.
He didn't pull the gun.
So
he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
The gun just went off.
The trigger.
The gun just went off. That doesn't happen.
It cannot happen. It's mechanically impossible for a gun to just go off.
They don't understand how a gun mechanically works. There are multiple checks in order for that to not happen. Mechanically, like built into the mechanisms of how the gun works. It's impossible. Yes. Oh, man. I want to make up some kind of like Babylon Bee headline. Where like
and have the guns just like pew pew pew.
No, it's basically like in reference to the the interview with Stephanopoulos, or as my wife calls him, Snuffleupagus.
See, I really want to send up a meme of the gun shooting Alec Baldwin.
I didn't pull the trigger. No, but
and Alec Baldwin going off.
I want to say something. Alec Baldwin stars in Fantasy Interview, where guns fire themselves or something like that. You know, some kind of making the interview out to be like a fantasy movie, where, you know, in a fantasy world where guns fire themselves. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Alec Baldwin stars in new role in the stars in new role about fantasy world where guns fire themselves or something like that. Anyway,
that would be pretty awesome.
Anyway, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's impossible. It's impossible.
It's completely impossible. It's improbable.
Yeah. The
gun just went off.
He pointed the gun at somebody and he shot them.
Yes.
But the thing is that the media will jump on this, right? They'll try to they'll back him. You know, they'll I mean, it's a wonderful little fiction that they can use to demonize guns further.
Correct.
You know, you know, say like, they've been saying that they you know, the argument's always been guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well, clearly guns do kill people.
Yeah.
Dusty Joe with the donation. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, I got to pay my taxes.
Yes.
I can't get away with not paying my taxes.
Yes. And just so you all know, the ticker, we're trying to raise $150 by the 14th. If you can help us out, if you can support, you know, that will help us keep the back end, you know, stuff that we pay for, like podcast hosting and the multi-stream functionality going.
YouTube,
yeah,
Facebook.
Yeah, the fact that we can stream to multiple places at one time is because it is, you know, that helps keep that going. So anything you can do to help would be fantastic. But
fill that bar.
Yes, we're definitely, yeah, we're definitely over halfway now. So thanks to that.
Yep.
And the best way to do it, you can subscribe and all that, but the best way to do it is the donation links underneath the or in the about section on our Twitch page and the channel page, and in you know, or in the liner notes of YouTube and Facebook. That all that money goes directly to us instead of half of your money going to, you know, Amazon and other such things. So
yeah, I'd much rather have all my money go towards helping this channel than helping Bezos make a little bit more money.
Yeah. I don't think Bezos needs any more help getting into space and all that. You know, he's got plenty of money. What was I gonna say? There's something recently that we were talking. Amazon is making some kind of move.
Buying Paramount, you mean?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
They're buying
Viacom.
Viacom.
Yeah. I mean, they're oh, man. You know, and if you want,
they want the intellectual properties of Paramount.
They want a lot. They want a lot of stuff. You know, I mean, if you look at the reporting that comes out of the Washington Post, it's ridiculous.
It's garbage.
Complete garbage.
It's absolute garbage.
It's 100% garbage. It's terrible. And that's that Bezos owns that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I wish that
Well, yeah.
wish that Amazon wasn't so freaking useful. So,
Right?
if you need to save money on purchases and you need it here quickly, it's a great service. They provide an awesome service.
It's not even that. It's hard to find stuff that you
True.
cannot get anywhere else.
Also that too. So they provide a great service. You know, on that point, I want to support them. But then everything else that they do with their money, you know, with that money, I mean, I don't care about Blue Origin, whatever. Go into space, that's fine. That's not the big deal. It's stuff like the Washington Post.
No.
It's stuff like what they did to Parler with Amazon Web Services. It's crap like that makes me not want to give them any money. But then it's like, how am I going to get this thing that I need, you know? Now, you know, okay, we can differentiate between needs and wants. I'm with you. I agree with that. But it's a conundrum, you know? It's a conundrum. It's like using Google, you know?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's one of the best search engines out there. The problem is it really curates your
they definitely
search.
do that. And how long before, you know, I mean, what they want to do is own the internet, you know? They want it to be the only that everything funnels through them, and then they control all the information. And the control of information is the war that we're fighting right now, you know?
Yeah.
So we can't let them do that. Anyway, on that note,
I hope not.
On that note, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing. Sharing most of all. Get the word out. What you've been watching is Plausible Foolishness, the home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary. Please pay your taxes. And we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Rumble, Instagram, and minds.com, and anywhere you can get a podcast. Peace out.
Oh, man. Yeah. Ryan's in here, too. He's solid, though. Yeah. This one for my aces. Came from different bases. Traveling them places, yeah. Conquering the nations. Ain't no rocket science, but chemistry what made us. Keep on dropping hits till they know we the greatest, yeah. Everything is alright. In the studio, we be all night. Everything is alright. In the studio, we be all night.
We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo. We been flying, look out, beat though. People trying, too much ego. I can take them out solo like Greedo.
Close, never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below us. Ultralight beam me up, deep lower. Better retreat from these space force. Close, never been an iota. On another level, top floor, below us. Ultralight beam me up, deep lower. Better retreat from these space force. This one for my aces. Came from different bases. Traveling them places, yeah. Conquering the nations. Ain't no rocket science, but chemistry what made us. Keep on dropping hits till they know we the greatest, yeah. Everything is alright.